Hello out there in YouTube land. Sorry about the glare. My shades are acting a little weird. I want to get this done today. So I'm going to be doing my reviews from this week's comics. Let's get this started. Blackwood Farms number 4. This is the end. I'm fairly sure, as it says right here, the end. It was a 4-part series. And if you've been watching my pickups, I really like this. At first, went downhill fast, and the only reason I picked up number 4 was for continuity's sake, just because I needed all 4 of them. I'm going to give that a 2 of 5. I mean, it was kind of a jumbled mess, and the art was not good. I thought it started out pretty well. The art fit the story, but it was just I found it hard to enjoy. Okay. Then I had Lex Luthor and Porky Pig number 1. It's $5. This wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. Of the 2 that I picked up, this is the one that I like the least. It's on par with some of the other of the matchups that they did earlier, like the Aquaman, Land Shark, or whatever it was. The art was incredible. They did really good art, and it was, but the story was kind of lacking and a little too much social commentary for my taste. So I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. Moon Knight, number 198. I hate having this down so low, because if you've been watching this before, watching my videos before, you can probably know I'm a huge fan of Moon Knight, or the older versions of Moon Knight. Not sure what Bemis is doing with this. Moon Knight is supposed to be a street level guy. He goes out and fights regular crime and does stuff, but this is getting into some weird shit. And now he's fighting a bunch of this group of I don't know quite what they are, and he has to kill a shark in this thing, and it takes him 2 weeks to do this shark and stuff. It's really weird. I'm going to stick around to 200 since it is only a 198 and see what they're going to do with this. But I'm going to give this a 2.75 out of 5. Dead Life, number 2, which is a $6 book. I really liked the first one. This one, I think they're trying to pack too much stuff into it and introduce too many characters in too many situations. The weird thing is that this seems to be almost, I don't know, they seem to be pretty much copying The Walking Dead. I mean, they have the zombie outbreak. It's the water is involved. When you drink the water, something happens. And, it's the only cool thing is that the animals are infected too. So if you get the animals are going to be attacking like the birds and everything. So that's kind of an interesting part, but I really think they're trying to get too much stuff into the story, and they're way too much like The Walking Dead, but not as good. So I'm going to give this a 2.75 out of 5. Brothers Dracul, number 4. I think this is the end of the series. See, here it says end. This is pretty good until this issue. Wasn't too keen on this issue. It did kind of a big time jump and did some weird stuff with it, and didn't quite explain things that were going on. Left the brothers at odds with each other, and so who knows? I'm kind of glad that it's over, because I probably wouldn't have gotten it much more after this one. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Joker versus Joker and Daffy Duck. Now this one, of the two that I picked up, this one was the best. This was awesome. You have the Joker getting caught by Batman and getting stuck in a and then you have Daffy Duck trying to go to Acme to get refunds for his stuff that didn't work, and the two of them teaming up. Daffy Duck is only doing it to save his life because Joker's going to kill him because he walked in on something, and Daffy Duck becomes his number one henchman. And then realizes how batshit crazy the Joker is and tries to stop him without getting killed. It's a really good story. And the art is very well done. If you look at this, it's just... I found this one thoroughly entertaining. And I wouldn't mind seeing another story about this one. I'm going to give it a 3.75 out of 5. Extermination number 2. Not as good as the first one, but still good quality. This one has a bit more exposition in it, and them trying to figure out what's going on with some action going on. And people trying to keep the other original X-Men, the Team X-Men, safe and stuff. It moves the story along, and the art is pretty good. I mean, not anywhere near as good as the Joker one, but I'm gonna continue reading this just because it's an interesting story. This one dropped off a little bit as from the first one, but it's still pretty good. I'm gonna give it, same as the last one, 3.75 out of 5. Walk Through Hell, number 4. It's the investigation continues. Well, it's pretty interesting. There seems to be just a lot of exposition. Trying to figure out the machinations of what's going on. Is the person telling the truth? How are these other people involved? Just the political aspects. Who's doing what? Why is this going on? It's weird. I mean, I really want to know. I like it, but I'm still kind of going. Let's go. Let's get the story going along. So I know this is probably a little out of order, but I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. White by Dan Schaefer. I know this is not a new comic. This is old, but I found this in the bin from their Bosco's comic book sale last week, and I wanted to try and find 2, 3, and 4. Couldn't, but Dan Schaefer. What more can I say? You know what I think about Malefic. This is a story about this woman who is an assistant to a big name actor, and the plane crashes out in the middle of the Pacific, and she's just like a production assistant, really low level. She's one of the 2 or 3 people who survive, and the other 2 people get eaten by sharks. And she's sitting on the wing of the plane, finds a satellite phone, and is trying to get help because she is surrounded by sharks. And she's out in the middle of the Pacific, big distance from shore, and trying to get home, trying to be safe, and getting bounced around to people, in South Africa and stuff. It's a really kind of an intense first issue, and I'd like to try and find issues 2, 3, and 4. I'm hoping it's just, I don't know if it's 4, or maybe just get the TPB. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. Anything by Dan Schaefer, get. I don't care. Just pick it up, read it, you'll enjoy it. Now down to the last 2. Cold Spots, #1 by Cullen Bunn, Image Comics. This I knew nothing about until the night before, when I was watching some videos of what's coming out the next day, and it said Cold Spots, Cullen Bunn. Now, from what I know, Cold Spots, the only thing I could figure out was that, cold spots are something involving ghost hunting. Because I watch, every once in a while, I watch the ghost hunting shows, and there's always, we found a cold spot. This is a cold spot. That means there's a ghost. Excuse me. And that's what I thought this book might have been about. And I was right. It's a very interesting first episode that grabs your attention and just pulls you along. It's got a young girl and her family, and she's talking to some people, and you have this. She disappears, and you get the new character getting pulled into an obviously very wealthy man's office, and the two have a history, and he's hired to find the guy's daughter and granddaughter. And it's kind of a disappearance mystery ghost story that only Cullen Bunn can tell. It's, if you're interested in paranormal mysteries and really good horror storytelling, get it. It's 4.5 out of 5. You won't be sorry. The art is good. The story is good. It just grabs your attention. And continuing the trend, Bone Parish #2, Colin Bunn. Oh, jeez. It is awesome. It is a really... It continues with where #1 left off. It is a story about a New Orleans family that is selling a drug made from the bones of people, which lets you relive their memories, become them, and of course they've been doing it for a while, so they are having problems getting supplies. They're getting interest from big mob families, and just there's the inter-family problems. It is complex. It is interesting. When there's a new kind of drug that the sister invents in this one that they show at the end, which ups the stakes. It is an incredible story, and the art is top notch. It uses different types of shading and different types of colors to tell the story. I am so glad I decided to pick this story up, and this is by Boom Studios, actually. It's incredible. If you're a Colin Bunn fan, get it. You'll love it. I mean, I know I said that about the last one and the Dan Schaefer one, but these are really good. So I'm going to give that a 4.5 out of 5 as well. Okay, that's it for this week. Let me know what you got. Let me know what you think of what I got, and tell me if you think I'm right or wrong on any of this stuff. And like and subscribe and hit that notification button if you want to see when I get out some new stuff. All right, thanks. Talk to you later. Bye.